Hello and welcome to Lean On Me, a documentary focused on how senior level leadership impacts student development at historically black colleges and universities. I'm your host, Michael N. Weaver Jr., a proud graduate of the Kentucky State University. And as much as I would love to talk about my experiences, today we're going to explore some amazing people, from presidents, vice presidents, chief of staffs, to alum and recent graduates. So without further ado, let's tune in. Up first, we have the president of LeMoyne-Owen College, Dr. Vernell Bennett-Fairs, who is a proud graduate of Fisk University. Up next, we have Dr. F. Carl Walton, who is the Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs at Southern University and is a graduate of Morris Brown College. We also have Dr. Davida Haywood, who serves as the Vice President of Student Affairs for her alma mater, Johnson C. Smith University. Up next, we have Dr. Tymon M. Graham, who is the Chief of Staff at my alma mater, Kentucky State University, and is a graduate of South Carolina State University. We also have Mr. Ryan E. Tucker, who is a graduate of Southern University, Baton Rouge. Up next, we have Miss Dejanay Tookes, who is a graduate of Jarvis Christian College. And finally, we have Mr. Amos Jackson, who is a proud graduate of Howard University. Before we get into the thick of today's conversation, I wanted to start off with the fun question. And so the question is, without saying that you attended an HBCU, what word or phrase would you use to describe to show that you attended one?
Oh, if it has to be a phrase, I might say on the yard.
Okay.
When is homecoming and did you pledge?
So a word would be family. I think a phrase that's unique to my alma mater. This ain't nothing but a Smith thing. That's all, that's all, that's all. From the window to the wall.
Did one.
Fried Chicken Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
That's mine.
All the time are Chicken Wednesday, Hump Day, and Homecoming Experience.
At HBCU, say a phrase or a word that shows that you attended one.
Michael, it has to be meet me in the circle. Right. Everybody knows it goes down in the circle, man. From discussions to dance moves to studying, everything goes down in the circle at HBCU.
Yeah. Some will argue that senior level leadership doesn't impact student affairs. And right now, we're going to find out if our participants agree or disagree and why.
Oh, I would strongly disagree, because really those administrators, those are the individuals who really have the power to make changes that affect student success. So especially if they're administrators that are student-centered, that means they are engaging with students regularly, both in the classroom, on the yard, in the community. So, they know the critical needs. So,
I definitely disagree with those who say that senior level leadership does not have an impact. The senior level leadership folk don't have an impact. I think that we definitely do, and that we should. And if we don't, then that's an issue.
No, I would probably disagree. I think foremost, when you come to our institutions, you're looking for people who look like you, right? And to see men and women who have the same passion and zeal and commitment to our institutions, I think in positions of leadership, and I don't want to say power, but certainly are in a space where they can empower and encourage and transform, which is something we talk a lot about in my division. I mean, it's just incredible. And
definitely disagree. Those in senior management and senior leadership have that direct connection and the direct access to make a lot of development opportunities available for students. That the senior leaders are doing their job right, then they'll provide numerous avenues for students, whether that be through internships, through partnerships, whether that be through student leadership trips and retreats, those kind of things. It all provides the same thing, that's the student development.
Being at HBCU, one of the prominent things that we really hold ourselves high on is watching mentors and finding mentors and finding senior level leadership that we can actually look into ourselves and like, hey, this is what I want to be. The way they walk, the way they talk, if they're on time, we pay attention to senior leadership. And I think that it definitely plays a pivotal role into your matriculation through the institution.
Absolutely.
I definitely disagree. I believe that during my time at Jarvis Christian College and being a student leader, I had that one-on-one experience with my campus administration. So having my meetings with the president, the provost, vice president, student affairs, even down to my advisors, I believe that administration had a huge part in how I translated and I went through my college career and also my career choice to actually pursue a career in higher education and college student affairs.
And right now we're going to dive in and hear perspectives about how important it is to be visible and accessible as an administrator on campus.
Absolutely. How important is visibility and accessibility for you as a leader, or even when you're a student?
I think it is so important that students see you in their space, still carrying out your role. You're not there to be anybody's friend and kiki, but what you are there is to be there to let students know that you understand the journey that they are on, and you're there to provide guidance.
One president who is sad to hear that he's retiring, but has done a job well done on numerous institutional campuses, is Dr. Andrew Hugheni. When I came in as a freshman, I could see him walking campus every single day. So every day he would be walking the campus. He stops at the pit to speak to students. And when I saw that, I said, if I were a college president, that's what I would want to do. That's what I would want to be. That's the model. And he's impacted, a lot of executive leaders. But when I saw him present on a campus, not to just walk to go to a meeting, not to just, to do something, go to his car, but the intentionality of him walking around the campus almost every single day it says a lot about him as a leader and where his priorities lie.
Accessibility. You want to make sure that us as students want to make sure that we have somebody that we can go to for anything. It's an open door policy. And some of these institutions, if it's a PWR, HBCU, you're not able to talk to senior level leadership when you want to. At HBCU, you have the opportunity to, if you need to walk in, they make themselves accessible if they're not in a meeting, or if you need to have a meeting, you don't get the runaround. You actually get an opportunity, Michael, to meet with that university official, the president, the vice president, the provost, the dean of students. You have that opportunity to meet with them. And we really, really appreciate that. Other institutions, you don't get that opportunity. So that's a very important piece. And
I found when students see that you have a vetted interest in their success, then they're more likely, one, you're going to retain them, and two, you're going to earn trust. So that same environment from whence I came at Fisk is the same type of environment that I tried to emulate for the students at KSU.
That's great. We had the opportunity, a privilege to serve as the student voice, student leaders, to serve as the SGA president of our universities. Can you talk about how during that time that impacted you and the things that you saw or learned from your university leadership that taught you the things that you know to this day?
I can say that it was definitely a roller coaster. I think people underestimate the roles and responsibility of an SGA president. Is not always a love relationship that I have with the administration. It was definitely a love-hate relationship during my time. But as for every leader, and I definitely believe that I went into my master's program having an idea of what administration looked like. And it was great for me because a lot of people don't know what administration looks like at an HBCU, and more importantly, at a smaller HBCU. So I was able to go into my program, sharing experiences with administration, what student life looks like from a student leader point of view. And it helped me because I branched out and now I understand administration from different levels, but I was also able to bring that experience to other individuals that weren't as so fortunate and lucky to go to an HBCU, a small one at that. So I definitely believe that it helped me as a student leader, and I was able to bring it even after I graduated to my program here.
And so, like, when you look back, when you had the opportunity to serve in the prestigious role of SGA President, and when you look back, through your
they were very visible to us, the administration, all the way to the president. We were a small community of about 1,800, maybe 2,000 at the most, but I think more like 1,800 students, but not over 2,000 at the time I was there. Very close to the community. The president at the time is Dr. Robert Threet. He's now deceased, but he was also an alum of the institution. His wife worked at the institution in the library, and he was the kind of leader who was hands-on, wanted to know the students, and he really got to know the students. One of the most humble leaders I have ever met in my life, and he's just one of the many. But he set the tone for what it was to be there as a student leader.
When our president Ray Belton gave me the opportunity to be the advisor for the Council of Student Body Presidents for Southern University A&M system. But they also gave me the opportunity to be over the other student body presidents that were around the area as well. And that's Louisiana Tech, that's LSU, and that's also Southern, that's other universities as well. But just to be in those rooms and know that I still made an impact in those rooms, which were not only HBCUs, but other institutions as well, to be able to have the green light to make a difference, not just for the city, but the state of Louisiana, spoke volumes for me. And once I had that opportunity, I knew that there was no turning back, and I knew that the university really believed in me.
What advice or practices would you encourage senior level administrators to use to connect with students?
Mm-hmm. They need to be where students are. I have some peers who just hate social media, and I said, but that's where they are. You need to be accessible. If possible, you need to have an open door policy. Students need to know that if they need you, that they can get to you. Sometimes that's tough, because, upper level executive positions are very, they demand a lot of your time, but at the end of the day, we're there because of the students. So try to be accessible, find them where they are, and visibility is really important. And during a pandemic, that's tough, but be creative of ways you can reach out to students so that they know that you want to engage with them and genuinely want to engage with them.
I would say listen to them. I think sometimes you distinguish between hearing and listen. So you listen and hear. I'm not sure whichever one is the deepest. So I hear you, but am I listening to you? So I think listen as well. Yes, you're going to hear them because they're talking, but listen to what they're saying. Even when their delivery may not be the kind of delivery that we're most comfortable with, but there's something there. Like, for example, some of the music, students have, requested or told me, advised me to listen to certain rap musicians. I'm from a different era. And so, but I listen, and I buy the music and I said, okay. I get this. So listen to them, be present, be trustworthy, to them, not in the context that they're our friend, because they're not, they're our student, but we also have to, the students also look to have, to establish, trust, and meaning trust you with advising them about their next life move. which means that we also have to be transparent, because to the extent that we're comfortable being transparent, then they can begin to see themselves in our experience. It's important that.
And to round out with our last question, we want to see how attending an HBCU or working for one has impacted them.
Changed my whole life, Michael, just because a lot of people will say that, HBCU students aren't ready for the real world. HBCU students didn't have the best platforms to stand on. They don't have the best alumnus that are supporting the institutions. That's all false. I think because I went to an HBCU, I can stand in any room now and be able to fully articulate myself in the best scenario possible. I will not get scared. I will not get lightheaded. I'll be able to present and just be myself. And just knowing that if I'm the only person that represents the HBCU in that room, that glow is going to be with me, for the rest of my life. And
when you sit back and you have an opportunity to attend a predominantly white institution, you really value the things that you took for granted at HBCU. I miss family. I miss being in a environment where you can be yourself openly. You just miss the culture altogether. And so I definitely believe that attending another institution type definitely made me miss my HBCU experience. It's not one that I'll take for granted. I've learned how to properly advocate and really express myself in what it did for me and how it shaped my future. And I miss it and I love it, and it's nothing like it. I can say it being a graduate from.
Both have impacted me greatly. As a student, there's nothing more humbling than sitting in the financial aid line. It's frustrating sometimes, but it teaches you to sit in your seat, stay in your spot. It teaches you tenacity, right? HBCUs teach you that. Without having to teach you, they teach you that. When you need your financial aid, or you might need your you parked in the wrong place and now you have a parking ticket, it teaches you self-advocacy, right? It teaches you tenacity. It teaches you persistence. And it teaches you how to have fun. So the school is great. The coursework is great, but it teaches you how to have fun and how to have fun responsibly. You as a student leader.
I could go on and on about that. Well, I mean, it's my foundation, but for Morris Brown, but for my experience in Morris Brown, I mean, I was able to go there, from small town Barnesville, Georgia. I graduated, Barnesville is a small town. My whole county, Lamar County, I don't think has 20,000 people. My high school graduating class had 129 people. And to go there, to go to this college in Atlanta, and be able to go and really excel and become, hold the top student leadership position, and the fact that these institutions give you the opportunity. I'm not saying others don't. I think that you can go to any kind of institution, be it historically white or historically black, and achieve all of your goals. I don't want to throw any shade or anything on any kind of institution, but I know that it's my belief that at HBCUs, and that's what I try to live out, is that we're going to help you develop into everything that you can be, even when you don't know it yet, even when you don't see it in yourself.
Oh, wow. Much of who I am today is a result of what was poured into me at Fisk University. And when I went on to my master's at a PWI and my doctorate at a PWI, it didn't come close. And although they had so many more resources than my institution did, they did not come close to giving me what I needed. And it's not always just about scholarship dollars. So often you hear, well, I want to go somewhere where I'm not just a number. But Fisk University helped me define who I was. It helped me identify my role in the world, what it was going to be. It helped me learn how to interact with others. It helped me learn how to create a nurturing and supportive environment, because that was one from whence I came.
Where I am today, I certainly would not be back at my alma mater had it not been for JCSU, but for Smith. I say there are two kinds of people in this world, golden bulls and people who wish they were. It is a magical place and space. And I hope not only my institution, but all of our institutions continue to provide that type of experience for students, so that as they continue to grow and develop, the question of whether or not you should give back is a non-starter, because this place produced you have a moral obligation to give back. So it sustains itself and it provides opportunities for students like you and me today.
I just want to say thank you to all the participants. Thank you to the faculty, staff, and administrators who work at these historically Black colleges and universities. And thank you for tuning in to Lean on Me. I am your host, Michael N. Weaver Jr. Have a wonderful day.